Welcome to this session on waves and wave equation. I am Dr. V.N. Sastry. So the outline of this presentation is waves, wave equation, nature of a wave and solution of wave equation. So in waves we'll see the examples, definition, what is the source of waves, what is the medium of waves, and what are the various types. When you are asked whether you have seen waves, naturally the question triggers your mind with the examples of waves in water. So there may be waves in still water, waves in the moving rivers or ocean, as these examples you can see. When we talk about the light waves through the sun rays, what you observe, or any lamp which is glowing, or during the important occasions you might have seen crackers and the various types of rays and colorful waves propagating. Through the prism also, scattering of waves, we see the various rainbow colors. Some examples of waves which you might have observed in the boiling of water or boiling of milk. Similarly, the clouds or the heartbeat, or when ropes are moved, you see the waves getting propagated. There are various examples of sound waves. Suppose you play an instrument, the sound reaches to the audience. It could be a string instrument or it could be an air instrument. There can be voice based, or what you call as a vocal cord based speech and singing of songs. Noise of crackers or various vehicles horns produce various sound waves. Light waves, as we have just seen, laser beam or various colors. Heat waves, boiling of any fluid that we have just seen, how milk produces those waves. Room heaters, magnetic waves due to the magnetic gravitation force. Electromagnetic waves, which are mostly used in the digital communication. There are mechanical waves which are happening through the pressure and touch. Sea waves, chemical waves, through the taste and the smell of objects. So all the sensory organs that we have, and also the various sensors which are used, they basically capture the waves and do the required processing. So there are various sound patterns of waves also you can see.
Okay, this is called a Chladni figure. Okay, here we go. Nice.
Observe the wave patterns that are produced through the sound. So these are various sound waves, although we can't see, but we can see the effect in the form of waves. So the question is, what is the definition of a wave? Wave is basically the flow pattern of energy propagation. What is the source? When a force is applied to a body, or a disturbance is created, or any excitation takes place in a medium, then waves are generated. Basically to carry and distribute energy into the surroundings. Vibration of a particle or a body oscillation, rotation about an axis, steering of liquids, revolution of physical body. All these things produce continuous waves. Some spontaneous waves are also produced by radioactive elements, which we call as radio waves. What is the medium? Electromagnetic waves can traverse through vacuum, whereas mechanical and other types of waves require a medium. Type and composition of the physical medium, for example, it could be solid, liquid or gas, and also the properties of the medium such as elasticity, density, temperature, etc. influence the speed and moving pattern of the waves. Metal acts as good conducting medium for heat and electric waves and produce specific colored waves when ignited. Types of waves, that could be visible or invisible waves, uniform or non-uniform, could be linear or non-linear, planar or spatial waves, periodic or non-periodic waves, simple or superimposed waves, something's original or simple waves, and modulated waves, stationary or non-stationary waves, and transverse or longitudinal waves. So we have just talked about the waves, examples, definition of waves, source of waves, medium, and the various types. Now let's look at the wave equation. So in the wave equation, we first need to understand why do we require a wave equation. What are the symbols that are used to represent? What is the geometric interpretation and visualization of understanding the wave equation? How it is derived mathematically and using the laws of physics. Some conclusions and remarks. Need for wave equation. Can we find the energy at any point on the wave at any time? Can we find the behavior of the waves? Can the model of wave propagation be obtained using the principles of physics and mathematical operators? Can we predict the wave pattern? The answer is yes. And let's see how we are going to derive the wave equation. So some symbols and corresponding meaning we need to understand. Suppose you take some point P on a wave, and R is the position vector of the point P, which is represented by coordinates x, y and z. Delta t is the small time period or time gap. So if you consider delta x, delta y, delta z as the change in the component length in x, y and z direction respectively, delta r is the small change in the position of a point on the wave in specific direction. Q is a previous position of the point P on the wave at time t minus delta t with position vector r minus delta r. R is the later position of the point P on the wave at time t plus delta t with position vector r plus delta r. All these things you will understand when we look at the geometric picture. So let's see the figure. So you have x, y and z axis with origin O. There is a point P on the wave at time t. Its coordinates are x, y and z. So the vector OP is your vector r. Okay, so vector r represents OP. Its coordinates are x, y, z. What does it mean? It means that if you take a vertical line on the xy plane and drop a perpendicular, then this is your z. If you take the foot of this perpendicular and draw a line parallel to the y-axis or perpendicular to the x-axis, you will get the length y, and the other side is your x. So knowing the lengths of x, y and z, one can reach to the address of the point P, which is x, y and z. So this is in vector notation represented as vector r is equal to ix plus jy plus kz, where I, j, k are the unit vectors in the respective coordinates directions. So let's now look at the point P and another point R, which is the new position of the point P on the wave. That means the point P has moved to point R after some delta time t. So its coordinates are x t plus delta x, y t plus delta y, and z t plus delta z at time t plus delta t. So this vector O R is the vector r plus delta r. So delta r is line PR or the vector PR. Suppose you take another point Q before some delta time t. That means the Q point has moved to point P and P point has moved to R. So the previous coordinates of the point Q are r minus delta r in the vector form, and its corresponding coordinates in the xyz form are xt minus delta xt, yt minus delta yt, and zt minus delta zt. This is the coordinate of the point Q. So Q point has moved to point P after delta t time. Again, after another delta t time, the point P has moved to point R on the wave. Now let's look at some more symbols which are going to be used. Delta V is a small elementary volume of the medium enclosing the point P in a rectangular parallelepiped. M is the mass of the elementary volume of the medium enclosed within the parallelepiped. And rho is the density of the medium or material in which the wave is propagating. A is the cross section area of the elementary volume of the medium at point Q or R of the rectangular parallelepiped. L is the length of the edge perpendicular to the cross sectional area A of the rectangular parallelepiped enclosing the elementary volume. Y is the Young's modulus of the medium or material. It's also called as your gamma. So xi we are representing as the energy level at a point P on the wave which is propagating in a medium at a given time t, and it is represented as xi rt or xi xyzt or xi of xt yt zt. All three are same. Change in energy is measured by work done, and work done we know that it is force into displacement. So delta xi, which is the change in the energy level or deformation or displacement between two nearby points on the wave propagating in a medium, k is the constant. So let's understand this by some geometric figure which we are taking as rectangular parallelepiped. So there is a point P and the 2 points Q and R are its adjacent points. That means on the wave the Q point was earlier there, it has moved to point P, and after some time again it has moved to point R. So knowing these 3 points, we are constructing a rectangular parallelepiped, and P is an intermediate point on the plane. So more clearly it can be understood by these vertical planes Q, P and R in the rectangular parallelepiped. So Q has moved to P, P has moved to R after time delta time t. So the area of the volume, area of this rectangular parallelepiped is A and length is L. So if its volume will be V is equal to A into length, and its mass will be V into volume into its density rho. So let's see a few more symbols to understand geometrically, as we are interested to derive the equation of the wave. Let Fl be the force acting from the left side of the elementary volume of the medium at a point P. Fr is the force acting from the right side of the elementary volume of the medium at a point P, and F is the resultant force acting on the elementary volume of the medium at point P, and amplitude of the wave is A. K is your wave vector of wavelengths k1, k2, k3. Omega is the angular velocity of the wave. V is the phase velocity of the wave, and Laplace square is the Laplacian operator. So let's geometrically look at So there are point P, there is a force which is acting from the left, FL. Okay, the force is FL acting from the point Q. So due to this force, the point Q has moved to point P. There is another force which is acting on the point P, and that's why its direction of movement is changed. If there is no force, it would have continued in the same direction, but it's not so. There is an external force Fr which is acting on the point P. As a result of that, the point P has resultant force taking it to the point R, and that resultant force is F. So clearly we can understand that there is a point P, there is a force Fl from the left, there is a force Fr from the right, and the resultant force is F. So this force F can be decomposed into along three axes as components as Fx, Fy and Fz. So F is the combination of the summation of these three forces, vector forces. So to understand that, so if we take point P, then FLR is the force acting from the left, Frx is the force acting from the right in the x direction. So the resultant force is of F of x. Remember that this force F acting from P to R is now decomposed to left and right directions, and each of those again F of x, Fy and Fz we are considering. So F of x is F of Lx plus F of Rx. So we know from the physics that stress by strain is constant. So therefore this constant is F by F, because stress is force by unit area, and strain is the elongation divided by the total length, or the compression by the total length. So from this we can get this gamma or y is equal to F into L divided by A into psi of delta psi. So F is equal to, from this, F is equal to this cross multiply if you take Ay by L into your delta psi. That means the force acting can be represented like this. Now if you take this as K, some constant K, so we can write this in this form, F is equal to this, that is your equation 1. Since we also know that force is equal to mass into acceleration, so acceleration will be del to psi by del t square. Therefore F is equal to your mass, which is small delta volume, into the density rho into this delta 2 psi by del t square. This is the second equation. Since the force F can be decomposed into three components, Fx, Fy, Fz, so this we can write F of x as, now we are taking specific direction, so delta x into A into rho and del 2 psi by del t square. Similarly, now for F of Lx, that means the force acting from the left on the point P. So this is K times psi of x minus delta x minus psi of x. This is the energy at the point Q, this is the energy at point P. We know that the energy at point Q is higher than the energy at point P, that's why it is moving in this direction. So this minus this multiplied by that K which we got from the Young's modulus relationship. Therefore the force acting from the left can be written as, this K is replaced by this, so Ay by L is now small delta x, and this is what we have kept, psi of x minus delta x minus psi of x. So this can be represented as F of Lx is equal to Ay into this del psi by del x, because this minus this at this point is what you are considering. Similarly, for F of Rx can be shown as minus K psi of x minus psi x plus delta x. This is the energy at point P and this is the energy at point R. So this was for Q and P, this is P and R. So the energy at P is higher than the energy at R. That's why the particle is moving in this direction. But the force acting is in the opposite direction, right? So this minus direction is taken into account and K is considered. Therefore, the force acting from the particle P from the right side is your minus AY, and because K is replaced by this, so K we know here AY by L. So AY by L here is delta X. So this expression, if you look at, this is nothing but the derivative as we have seen here. Okay, so this is the derivative of this point. So minus AY del xi by del X. This is equation 5. So f of x is equal to f of Lx plus f of Rx. Therefore, using the equations 4 and 5, we get f of x is equal to AY. This we got for f of Lx. This we got for f of Rx with their respective signs. Now, if you further expand it, we can see AY and multiply both sides, both up and down, by delta x. So this expression divided by delta x and pre-multiplied by delta x, multiplied and divided, so that they are balanced. So this expression gives you f of x is equal to del v into y, right, this one, because this into area gives you this volume and y is here. So del to xi, this is second derivative of xi with respect to x, del to x. This is the equation 6. Similarly, if we derive in the y and z directions, we get f of y as del v y del to xi by del y square. This y is actually representing your gamma, or what you call as your Young's modulus. Okay, these relations are 5, 6, 6, 7, 8 are similarly obtained. Now, since f is equal to f of x plus f of y plus f of z, and from 6, 7 and 8 we have seen, from 6 we got this relationship, from 7 we got this, from 8 we got this. So, and we know f is sum of all these things. So, just if you add all these, we get f is equal to this plus this plus this. That's what is shown here as 9. From 2 we have f is equal to del v rho into del to xi del t square, which we have obtained as the mass into acceleration relationship from equation 2. So from 9 and 2 we can get, because f is same for both, so we can equate. This is on the left hand side, this is on the right hand side, because these are f. So simplifying this, delta v you are cancelling, and then simplifying we get this expression, and if you take y by rho, y divided by this rho, and then bringing it on to the right hand side and taking left minus, we get this expression, del to xi del x square plus del to xi del y square plus del to xi del z square minus 1 by v square del to xi del t square is equal to 0, where v square is phi by v. It's called the velocity of the wave. In simplified form, the same thing. This is actually the Laplacian operator on xi, and minus 1 by v square del to xi del t square is equal to 0, where delta square is the Laplacian. This is actually the wave equation, either 10 or 11. So what we conclude is the equation of wave is this expression, where xi is energy at any point xyz on the wave at a time t, and v is the wave velocity. This expression, if you observe, it's a partial differential equation of second order in terms of the position coordinates and time. So the wave equation can be written in compact form as same thing. This is the Laplacian operator on xi, minus 1 by v square del to xi del t square is equal to 0. This is what we call as the wave equation. Okay, wave equation was first given by Alfred Clerk Maxwell in 1865 for electromagnetic waves. So this is the picture of Maxwell, and this is very popularly called as your Maxwell's equations. He has given 4 equations, and this equation is very important, and that's why he is also called as one of the important contributors in electrical engineering. He is also called as your father of the electrical engineering. So this link you can get to know more about him. He lived for 48 years only, but he has contributed greatly, and you can see further from that. Remarks: so the small elementary volume of the medium of the wave taken here is a rectangular parallelepiped with Cartesian coordinates. One may take elementary volume as a sphere with spherical coordinates also as r theta phi, or as cylindrical coordinates with cylinder as the small elementary volume r and the coordinates as r theta z. The volume on both sides of point P is taken here as equal, although they could have been different. However, we get the same equation in any case. The mass and Young's modulus Y for the material medium are considered in the derivation of wave equation. However, the same wave equation is obtained even for electromagnetic waves in vacuum. Energy is potential to do work, we know. Energy and work units are same. Difference in energy is measured by work done. Since work done is force into displacement, so delta psi signifies change in energy or displacement. Maxwell's wave equation is generic and applicable to any type of waves. So what we have noticed, so we have talked about the waves earlier, then we have talked about the wave equation. We have seen what is the need of wave equation, what are the symbols, what is the geometric meaning, how simply it is derived, and shown what are the various conclusions and the remarks. This we have seen. Next we will talk about the nature of a wave. So in the nature of a wave, the function satisfying wave equation we are going to derive, conditions for it, and we will see that it is a harmonic or periodic function, and some conclusions on that. So nature of a wave. A function xi, which is f of x, y, z, t, which satisfies the wave equation 10 that we just have got, it represents a wave. So any function of the form f k dot r plus minus vt, that is f of k1x plus k2y plus k3z plus minus vt, which is twice differentiable, satisfies the wave equation, provided k square is equal to k1 square plus k2 square plus k3 square is equal to 1. We are going to prove this. As the function f is harmonic, means that the nature of propagation of the wave is periodic. So consider the wave equation, which we have seen as equation 10, that is del 2 xi by del x square plus del 2 xi del y square plus del 2 xi del z square minus 1 by v square del 2 xi del t square, or Laplacian operator applied on xi minus 1 by v square del 2 xi by del t square is equal to 0. This is equation 11. So where v is the velocity of the wave, xi rt is your xi xt by t zt is the energy at a point on the wave with position vector r at time t, and this Laplacian operator is the as shown here. So let's consider a function f k dot r plus minus vt, which is twice differentiable, where k is your k1, k2, k3 vector, components of the vector, r is your x, y, z, and k dot r is the dot product k1x plus k2y plus k3z. Let f of xi of rt is this function f of k dot r plus minus vt. So if you assume that u is this k dot r plus minus vt, or in simple terms, if u is equal to k1x plus k2y plus k3z plus minus vt, which is equation 13, then what we can see, we can take the derivative of u del u del x, then you will get k1. If you take del u del t, you will get plus minus v. This we are going to use. From 12 and 13, psi of rt is your f of u. So where u is, we have taken like this, which is equation 14. Alright, using chain rule we can get del f by del x is, we know chain rule, del f by del x is del f by del u into del u by del x, because f is a function of u now and u is a function of x, y, z, t. So del f by del x can be written as del f by del u, and del u by del x is del u by del x is k1. So k1 here. From 14 we get del xi by del x is del xi by del x is del f by del x, but del f by del xi by del x is del f by del x we got now as del f by del u into k1, which implies del xi by del x, this is equal to k1 into del f by del u. Now differentiating this both sides with respect to x, what we get, del x of this is equal to del x of whole of this. Now if you take differentiation of this, you get del 2 xi by del x square is equal to del u, because this is a function of u. So del x of this can be written as del u of this into del u by del x. So this left hand side gives you del 2 xi by del x square is equal to, this is your k1, and derivative of this is del 2 f by del u square into this is del u del x, which we got as k1. So k1 here. Now if we simplify this, we get del 2 xi del x square is k1 square del 2 f del u square. That is equation 15. Similarly, del 2 xi del y square is k2 square del 2 f del u square. That is equation 16. And similarly, del 2 xi by del z square is k3 square del 2 f del u square. So using 15, 16 and 17 we get this del 2 xi del x square plus del 2 xi del y square plus del 2 xi del z square is equal to k1 square del 2f by del u square plus k2 square del 2f by del u square plus k3 square del 2f by del u square, which on simplification gives you this, the left hand side term, and right hand side this is common. If you take these three, del 2 f del u square is common from all this, so left is your k1 square plus k2 square plus k3 square. This on simplification gives you this whole thing as k square, provided k square is equal to this. So this expression del 2 xi, this is Laplace square, xi is equal to k square del 2 f by del u square, where k square is equal to this. So this 18 and 19 are same, only this is expressed in Laplacian operator. Since from 14 we know that xi rt is equal to f of u and u is this expression, so using chain rule del f by del t we get del f by del u into del u by del t. We get del xi by del t is del f by del t, which is equal to del xi by del t plus, equal to del f by del u plus minus v. So differentiating once again with respect to t time t on both sides, we get del t of del xi by del t is equal to del t of this whole expression, which on simplification gives you del 2 xi by del t square. This, because it's a function of u and you are differentiating with respect to t, so what you do, you put del u and this del u by del t. So if you take del u by differentiation with respect to this, we get del 2f by del u square, and this is your plus minus v. Again del u by del t we get, del u by del t we get as plus minus v. Same thing here. So on simplification we get del 2 xi by del t square is equal to v square del 2 f by del u square, which is equation 20. So putting 18 and 20 in the left hand side of the equation, wave equation, we get, this is your wave equation, it's the left hand side term, which is equal to, because this we got as k square del 2f by del u square and minus 1 by v square into this expression we got as v square del 2f by del u square. So if you put on the left hand side of this expression the terms, the values that we got for each of these two terms, this is the expression we got, this is for this we got. So putting that, we see this v square gets cancelled, k square into this expression del to f by del u square minus this del to f by del u square. This becomes 0 if k square is equal to 1. So it implies that a function of this form f of k dot r plus minus vt, that is a function of the form k1x plus k2y plus k3z plus minus vt, which is twice differentiable function, satisfies the wave equation provided k square is equal to 1. So as the function f is harmonic, as you can see here, it means that the nature of propagation of the wave is periodic. That's what we are able to derive and show. So what we have done so far: nature of the wave, function satisfying wave equation, the conditions, we have shown that it's a harmonic function, and we have drawn the conclusion for that. Next we are going to see the solution of the wave equation. So in the solution of the wave equation, we are going to see the general form of the wave equation. We are going to verify that what is the general function, and also trying to find what is the solution of the wave equation. So if suppose we assume that there is a function xi rt which is represented as a into e to the power I omega t minus k vector dot r vector, where k is k1, k2, k3, r is your x, y, z, and k dot r is k1x plus k2y plus k3z, and I square we know is equal to minus 1. That is, if there is a function f xi of x, y, z, t, which is equal to a of e to the power I omega t minus k1x plus minus k2y minus k3z, then it satisfies the wave equation provided that omega is equal to vk. This represents a general four-dimensional waveform or wavefront solution of the wave equation. So let us construct the wave represented as by this: xi rt is equal to a into e to the power I omega t minus k dot r, where k is k1, k2, k3, same thing, only we are rewriting it. So it can be written as xi is equal to a of, because it's e to the power I theta form, so we can write it in the complex part and the real part. So a cos this plus I into a sin omega t, this expression. So since z of x, y, z, t is equal to a of this expression, to check whether it is a solution to the wave equation, we differentiate 22 with respect to t. So we get del xi by del t is I omega a e to the power I, same expression, so which is equal to del z by del t is equal to I omega into this expression itself is xi. So this is xi, that is 23rd. Differentiating it again with respect to t, we get del 2 xi by del t square is equal to this I omega, and again from this you get I omega. So you get I omega square. So del 2 xi by del t square is minus, because I square is minus 1, so minus omega square xi of x, y, z, t, since I square is equal to minus 1. So as this expression which we have taken as 22, we differentiate equation 22 with respect to x, we get del xi by del x is minus I k1 a e to the power, same expression. So del xi by del x is minus I into k1 of xi t. Differentiating it again with respect to x on both sides, we get this expression. So del x of this will give you del 2 xi by del x square, and del z of del x of this expression gives you same multiplied by once again. So I square into k1 square xi of this, which gives you del 2 xi by del x square is equal to minus, because I square is minus 1, so minus k1 square xi. Similarly, for del 2 xi by del y square as minus k2 square xi, and del 2 xi by del x square z square is equal to minus k3 square xi x, y, z, t. Therefore, your left hand side of the equation, wave equation, gives you this expression, which you put it, you get this, On further simplification, we get this equal to minus k square psi, since k square is this. So putting the expressions what we have got from 25 and 24 previous one in the wave equation, we see that this becomes 0. Okay, so we get this expression because del 2 psi del square is minus k square, and this expression you already got here. Alright, so this minus k square plus omega square by nu square is of psi is equal to 0. So non-trivial solution, because this should not be 0, then this will be equal to 0. So simplifying this gives you omega square is equal to v square k square, or omega is equal to vk, which is the dispersion relationship. Therefore, if w is equal to vk, then the waveform 22, that is psi of xyzt, is equal to a of e to the power I omega t minus k1x minus k2y minus k3z is the solution of the wave equation, either 11 or 10 that we have derived. So by considering omega is equal to vk, the function psi rt is equal to a e to the power I omega t minus k dot r, or psi xyzt is equal to a e to the power I omega t minus k1x minus k2y minus k3z represents a general waveform or wave front solution of the wave equation. Hence, psi xyzt is equal to a e to the power I omega t minus k1x minus k2y minus k3z, or z of this is equal to a cos whole expression plus I times a sin omega t minus k1x minus k2y minus k3z is a waveform. This is actually the wave representation. For electromagnetic waves, this cosine and sine waves represent orthogonal waves or electric and magnetic waves, forms of the energy. So what we conclude, we have discussed about the definition, examples and types of waves. We have derived also the general equation of wave in space and time. In space and time, popularly known as your Maxwell's wave equation. We have shown that the waves are of periodic nature, and we have shown that waveform is represented as generalized cosine function and sine function in 3D and time. So wave characteristics and geometric representation of waves we can discuss in the next session. So you have questions and comments, please send to this email ID. Thank you very much.